Well, I'm happy, excited. There's just this, the first photo has so much inflammation. There's this huge, I've had this, you can see here, this grip in my abdomen. And here it's just softening. My waist, I've had that too since I was pregnant. I had a line across my belly when I was pregnant, and it was different pigment above and below, and it was right there. That
And
has been
Kelly,
like,
where that grip is in your rib cage too, that's right around where the aorta is leaving the heart. So if you think of
mm,
a tube, right, like a straw, and you now are like squishing and twisting that straw, how hard does your heart have to work to try to send blood and oxygen into your system? And there wasn't much getting to your legs and feet.
now, interestingly, through this process, my blood pressure is normal. It was like sky high, and it's normalized. And my resting heart rate, it was in the high 90s, and now it's like usually low to mid 70s.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Partly
Yeah.
too because your diaphragm is actually moving. Again, when we talk more about that and we can really showcase why it's so important to focus on it. But anyway, whew, amazing.
Okay. These are going to be your favorite, Deanna.
Okay, can't wait.
These are, I don't have feet in the first picture because I never planned to do this. So that is 2 years ago, the first picture, and then last October, and then yesterday.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so this part right here, you can't really tell in the photo, but that is the classic, like, I have lipedema, and so I have fat hanging over my knees.
Mm-hmm.
It's gripped right here because I hyperextend a lot. And Deanna, you're great at explaining the hyperextension, but most of us, most of the population, but especially those with some sort of connective tissue disorder, our knees are backwards almost,
Yep.
very hyperextended, just locked back in place. And that right there was just cement. And over here too, you can see all of that is just gripped. This one worse than this one, but still gripped. Um, the other thing is this bump right here that we've talked about on our last video, but that concrete in my leg. And then if you look at this, let me zoom in a little bit. You can tell it's getting a little better, but still chaotic lipedema knees. This fat right here is smoothing out, but still not great. Um, the other thing, well, I'll talk about my knees first. I can see my kneecap. I don't know when I last saw that with like straight legs, but it's there. Look, it was there all the time. Um,
Wow.
and this one looks so much better too. That really deep grip right there. And these are only, I think the middle one is February. And so those are not too far apart. The other thing is the symmetry is completely different
Hmm.
because my legs have always looked like they're two different, like belong to two different people. Um, my feet, if you look at my feet, this foot I had surgery on, you can see that that's not a scar. That was a grip. My scar is actually on the side. So that snaky line was just fascia gripping. And I told Deanna when I first started working with her, don't worry about this foot. It will not change because I've had surgery and they messed it up. And if you look over here, it has changed. The alignment of my toes has changed. Oh, and the other thing is like here, my ankles are that like collapsing in and they're so much straighter. All the gunk that you can see congestion here, it's so much better. Um, and these, I basically don't have these places on the inner shin that are hard and inflamed anymore. It's almost completely like a flat normal shin.
That's amazing. That's truly amazing. I know how, I mean, again, when you're talking about that concrete, right? We're dealing with adhesions that will grip and adhere to bone with a 2,000 pound per square inch force. It's a magnetic seal. And that's what that's the kind of intensity we're dealing with in the body. But if we understand how we can shear through those layers to get to the bone where they've gripped, then we start creating space. And when we start pumping that beautiful blood and oxygen into the cells, and those hungry cells finally awakened, they take the oxygen and, like filling up a balloon, they get nice and full and they start becoming lighter. And then it's a continuation of that. So, wow, that's just fantastic, Kelly. You're amazing. You're such an inspiration.
Oh, thank you. And when we talked in February, you said you can't keep up this 2 and 3 hours a day of block therapy because I was doing a lot at that
Yeah.
time, like intense. And from then until these most recent pictures, I've moved to a new house. I've had a lot of stuff happen, and I haven't been doing 2 to 3 hours. Um, so you don't have to do 2 to 3 hours to have significant change.
No.
You can, but you don't have to.
Well, and then
So
the thing is too, once you become lighter and your body becomes more efficient, the more efficient you become, the less you need to do because now your body, just the breath in itself, when you start breathing diaphragmatically and you understand more about how to use your body as it was designed to be driven, which like we weren't given instructions, right? Nobody told
yeah,
us this is how you should be driving this car. So we've all gone along and we've been impacted with trauma and that's the thing. We have this ability to remember who we truly are and like the capacity that we really have to create and to share and to be alive and feel free inside of our bodies. But if we don't know, it's like there's a whole language inside of us, but nobody's taught us the language of the cell.
yeah. And it's just fascinating how much you can impact your own body and your own health with seemingly like simple, small steps. And you said you wanted to share a couple of things. So
Yeah.
tell us, give us something that we can take away that will help us.
Okay. So I'm just going to angle my screen here. Okay, so your diaphragm muscle, it is the foundation of your rib cage. When you inhale, this plate of muscle moves down. When you exhale, it lifts. If it's working properly, you are giving your stomach, your liver, your pancreas, gallbladder, your heart, your lungs, an internal massage constantly. That creates heat, it creates energy, and it also creates a strong foundation here. So now imagine I have some kind of pain, whether physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, whatever that pain is, it's trauma. And what happens is this is what happens. It's like, oh, I got to protect myself. So as soon as we protect ourselves, we don't compress linearly in this perfect straight line way. There's no straight lines in nature. We compress and we twist. And now here's this plate of muscle that ends up twisting, and the adhesions will even grip onto the rib cage, locking you in to this pattern. So now, because I'm designed to survive, the upper muscles of respiration, the secondary muscles of the upper chest, they start doing the work. So now I'm breathing more up here. You can see how my shoulders are rising. When in fact, what we want is we want the belly to be moving. We want to inhale, think pregnant belly, exhale, squeeze the belly small. And this is counterintuitive. When I was a Highland dancer when I was a kid, hold your belly in. Well, if I'm holding my belly in, I'm not breathing with my diaphragm. So then we force this breath up here. And the challenge, if we're talking about size and shape in this area, when this muscle becomes weak, we collapse down. So now, as soon as I collapse down, it's going to go somewhere. It's not going to get smaller, it's going to get bigger. And then there's less space in this area. So everything bulges out. So, in order to be aligned, we also, though, have to address the limbs. And whenever I'm assessing bodies, and Kelly explained it perfectly, she had two completely different legs. So I'm going to stand up here just to show you as well what I'm talking about there. So when we start tipping off balance in the center of the body, now we end up patterning. So this is a common, this was my pattern as a kid. So now I look at one foot. One foot is acting like a driver, and it's like a flat tire, sorry. And it's usually the right side. Most people are right-handed. So if you look down at your feet, we want to have our feet directly underneath our hip joints. But again, we end up patterning. So think of if you're driving a car and that right front tire is flat, the steering wheel starts turning over to that right side. The left side of the body anchors. It goes into holding pattern mode. You can also imagine you're walking a 120-pound dog. If it's really well trained walking beside you, there's no tugging on your body. But if it's not well trained, it's pulling you over. So in order for you not to fall flat on your face, if it's pulling me to the right, the left side of my body anchors to stop me from falling. So when we go through trauma over our lifetime, it's like this slow moving version of a fall. And that's what happens to those collagen proteins. They start migrating to grip and grip and grip so I don't literally tip over and land on my face. But it gets patterned in the limbs. Your feet and your hands and the top of your head are the furthest from the engine. And your feet most importantly, because let's say you have a frozen shoulder. Part of the reason you're going to have a frozen shoulder is because of your alignment. If I'm aligned this way, this is as much range as I have in my shoulder. Bring alignment back and you've got full range of motion. So you have a sore shoulder, you go get your shoulder worked on and you start walking. Now your feet are going to pull you back into that negative pattern, which is why for so many people you can go for therapy and you might have some initial improvement, but give it time and your patterning pulls you back into those alignments that created that issue in the first place. So this is where understanding what's causing what in the body, and so many people talk about inflammation being the bad guy. It's not. Inflammation is the response to scar tissue and adhesion. If we don't address inflammation as we should, meaning support it, then it can become problematic, but it's not the problem in the first place. There's something beforehand, and it's the trauma and the patterning that creates the adhesion. And then scar tissue from injury or surgery just adds more. Did that make sense?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.